We've all had experiences, I think, when it comes to neck and back pain. What I wanted to share with you is a little bit of some things that I've learned over the recent days about, things I can do for my spine to make it better with my neck and my back in particular. So first thing I want to talk about is this little fellow right here, the cell phone. The cell phone is technology that is actually making our lives harder for us when they're supposed to be making it easier, because we're starting to become addicted to always be looking at our cell phones, always be looking down at them and trying to catch up with the latest information or do social media, and we can become a victim really quickly. So if you've ever had the experiences where you're looking down like this towards your cell phone, you'll find that it's killing your neck and your spine over time. You're making a bad habit that you need to correct. So I'll give you two suggestions when it comes to the cell phones. First off, if you are going to use a cell phone, bring it up to your face. Instead of your face coming down to it, you're supposed to be the one in charge. Let it come up to you. All right? The second point I'll make is if you're not using the cell phone, if you don't need to use it, put the dang thing down. I mean, we need to communicate with each other, and a lot of times what you'll find is that you're talking to somebody and you got a cell phone, you're sitting there and you're just focused on that, you're not focused on the other person. It's important that we have good human interactions. So having a cell phone in front of your face 24/7 is not necessarily a good idea. All right, so that's the first part, changing the way that we do things. You'll be surprised if you're not straining your neck so much, how much better you feel over time. Okay, so let's see. All right, now the next thing I want to talk to you about is your core muscles. So you have a core here that you have to engage. And the way it was explained to me is it's kind of like the Incredible Hulk. So when you want to fire up your core, you just want to, like focus your energy on this area and keeping things solid. And then when you do something, like if I pick up my leg, I'm picking up my leg, it's more of a deliberate action. And I'm not as wobbly because I have better balance because I'm engaging my core. So whenever you're doing any of these exercises I'm going to show you, or these stretches actually, I would highly encourage you to engage your core when you're doing it, because it'll make the stretch or the exercise much more effective for you. And it'll get your body used to activating your core as well. Next thing I want to show you is with the some things with the door. But before we go over there, let me talk to you about these things. You have a lot of resistance bands, and they come in all different colors. There's red, there's gold, there's black, there's blue, there's green. There's all different colors. And this becomes quite confusing for people because it's like, okay, so what should I use? In general, the red and green colors are pretty good for low resistance. And I'll share in the groups, I'll share on the flag group about what each color means, but realize that it's different depending on the manufacturer. So the one I use is TheraBand, and I'll be sharing the information for TheraBand. But if you use a different type of resistance band, look it up on the internet and see what the different colors mean. But generally, red and green with the TheraBands are good for starting out if you're not sure, what the resistance is. And blue is really good if you're needing something that's a little bit easier for you to do. Like we're going to do one where we're going to pull down. It's a lateral pull, and when you pull down, it's a little easier for you to do it. So you might want a more resistant band, a little heavier of a band, which the blue one is. So you're welcome, Felicia. Thanks for tuning in. And Felicia is my coach, by the way. She's been helping me with all kinds of stuff. I've lost over 24 pounds, almost 25. Well, hopefully 25 by tomorrow when I reach my 1 month mark. So I'm really trying to do my best to lean down and live a leaner, greener, meaner life. Okay, maybe not meaner. We'll see. So now, when you take these bands, let me show you a couple things. I'm going to switch to my other camera here, over by the door. Whoop. Let's see. There's camera 2, and hopefully you can still hear me. I still got to wire my room a little bit better for sound and things, but I'm just getting started here. So a couple things that you can do. Let me see if you can see me okay. Trying to make sure I'm on the camera. Okay, I gotta come a little bit more over this way. I'm kind of learning this as I go, folks, so you know, but I figured maybe people could use a common man's approach to things at times. So one of the things you can do is you basically walk into the door, and I'm going to do it from the outside here. I'll turn the light on, it might help too for the lighting. You come into it, and what you want to do when you do these exercises, you're basically stretching your traps. So you can do them so you're straight across like this, and you want to step into it. You don't want to lean into it, you want to walk into it. So you just stretch like this. You know, hold it for maybe like 15 to 30 seconds and do a few sets of those. But you can also alter it. You can go up and do it at a higher angle, and then it'll work a different part of the muscle. And you can also come down low and then, you know, work another area of that muscle. So that'll help to open up your traps, and you'd really be surprised. Your traps have a big effect on your back and your neck, because mine are always tight here. So I'm trying to do what I can to loosen them. So hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. So the next thing I'm going to do are with the TheraBands, we're going to do 3 sets of exercises, or stretches actually. What I do is I tie an overhand knot in this thing, so you're basically just putting it through a loop at about the halfway point. And you tie that up. It gives you like a little knot here to hold, so that when we put this on a door, and you can do it with other things besides a door, but a door is a pretty good one. Just be safe and always test things. And another thing too is when it comes to doing any kinds of exercise or stretching, it's always advisable to check with a doctor if you're at all unsure, you know, especially if you haven't done this kind of stuff for a long time. But most of the stuff I'm doing is very low impact, so as long as you take your time and don't do anything to hurt yourself, because no matter what Arnold says, no pain, no gain is not the answer. Just remember that. So we're going to take this, and I'm going to put it around the doorknob here, and I'm going to close the door. Want to make sure I give it a good tug to make sure it's not going to snap on me. And when it comes to these TheraBands, you don't want them too long, because if they're too long, you know, and you're halfway across the room, it might snap and smack you real hard. So, you know, if it does snap. So what you do is you take one in each hand, wrap it around a couple times, and you want thumbs up. You want your thumbs up in the air. And this one we're going to do is a shoulder blade pull. So I want to come back like this and forward and back. Oh, excuse me, I'm doing the wrong one. Sorry. You want to come straight back to your chest. Back and forward, back and forward. And when you're doing this, you don't want it to be about your biceps. It's not a curl. You're not trying to work your biceps out. You just want to pinch something in the middle of your back. So pinch the middle of your back. And usually good on these ones for me is 2 sets of 20 that I do throughout the day. And don't bring your shoulders up. You want to keep them relaxed, keep them down. Okay, so that's the first one. I call that, I'm not sure if my terms are always correct, but I think that's called a shoulder blade pull. The next one I'm going to do is a reverse fly. So you might be familiar with flies. They're what people do with weights when they're bringing together. This is going to be a reverse fly. So the same position, thumbs up in the air, and what we're going to do is we're going to spread them out. I got to get into a better position so I can actually spread my arms. Probably not real good in this spot, but we bring it back, and again, you don't want to bring your shoulders up. You want to just come outward. You want to keep your spine straight too. And again, about 2 sets of 20 is what I'm doing with these. Now the last one we're going to do here, I take this knot here and I put it over the top of my door, and I close it, and then always make sure that you test it first before you start doing things with it, so it doesn't pull or the door doesn't open to smack you. Now this one, I'm using red bands, but you might want to use like maybe, red and green is good to start, but for something like this, it's a little easier for our arms to do it. We're more used to this kind of a pull. We're going to pull at a 45-degree angle. So on this one, you might want to use like maybe the blue bands. That might be a little bit better, but then the other thing is for the resistance, you tighten it up in your hands. If you have shorter, you have it tighter. If you move out, you'll find a distance that works best for you as well. So again, thumbs up in the air, 45-degree angle roughly, and I'm coming back down to me. And again, I'd say about 2 sets of 20 on these as well. So that's just a little bit to help you, and I'm going to switch over to my other camera now. So that gives you a little bit to work with. Come here, honey bear. Come here, sweetie. Come here. And this is my little supervisor. She's my key grip. This is Honey Bear. So she likes to be by my side all the time when I'm working out, when I'm doing it, just about anything. So, but our next flag stream that we're going to do is going to be focusing on balance training. I recently picked up this thing. It's called the Bosu Balance Trainer, and I wanted to go over with you about that. Also, I take Tai Chi once a week with this gentleman named Clayton, and he taught me some things about water and how you do balance. So I'm going to go over a few of the things that I've learned from him as well. We'll go over that and also look at some common things that you might have around your house. You know, things that you can use to work out. You know, especially these days, it's getting very hot out at times, and it's not always easy to go outside and do the walk we want to do. So I'm going to share some things about that as well. And final thing is I have a flag group. In the comments here, you have a link to it. If you want to join the flag group, please do, and share your thoughts when it comes to health and fitness. You know, because we really need to get fitter. You know, COVID did a lot to tear apart this world, and now we got to build it back, and we got to make our lives better as we do it. So, thanks for turning out, and I hope you enjoyed it.